In this video, Super GT meets his destiny in Barrier, and we reenact the Spa 24 hour where everybody goes off at the bus stop chicane. Hello everyone, and welcome back to a Gran Turismo video. We're doing Daily Race C, Spa-Francorchamps in Group 3. Now, if you do enjoy this video, as always, do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. But what I don't like is starting on this chicane. But I'm not going to talk about the rolling start too much. It's an annoying one. I said they need to use the 24-hour layout rather than this one, but it is what it is. Now, we've got weather, as you can see right there. We've got a big old rainstorm coming in here as we get to the end of the Kemmel Straight. We've got Nico fighting Knudsen up there. Nico, obviously a World Tour finalist, used to driving that Genesis, but we're going to drive around the outside in the Porsche 911 as do a fight in the Dane there. And we're actually going to go to the inside here. Is this a 2-for-1? Yes, it is. It's down the inside I go. A long right-hander, this one. So we should have this one done and dusted. There we go. Getting up ahead with a penalty. So we will take that off you. That's a P12 for me. Thank you very much. As we look further on in this one. We actually jump on board the Panther on lap number 2. This is the fight for the lead then. We've got Norb, we've got Arkers, and Panther here then. So Panther's looking in the middle, goes towards the right side. There's a tiny bit of movement there. I don't think that was intentional at all. But unfortunately, Panther goes round, and Panther goes off the circuit there. Big old spin. But fortunately, with this race being 20 laps, it does allow Panther to return there. But that's not a good return to the circuit, that is for sure. But even so, Ghosting actually helped there as we jump back on board myself here later on in the lap. So we had a penalty in the distance. Who was that? Oh, wow. So we got an even bigger penalty there. That was the Polish driver. Toby had a penalty. Gives me room on the inside. I appreciate that. So 2 positions gain here. We're making our way up the grid. And again, 20 laps. It's a long race. Arguably too long, though. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on in this video. Now, I go for some avoidance there in the braking zone. I seem to be able to brake a lot later than some people. That could be due to my APS being on weak rather than default. So I took avoiding action there to avoid hitting full spay there. That did cost me some positions here. Now, I'm sure shifting to let Nico go here. No point fighting Nico in that Genesis, because the second you get out of turn 1 right here, La Source, that Genesis just rockets off. And you're about to witness that. Look at it. It starts to disappear very quickly there due to its acceleration. Anyway, we go to the end of lap number 3 here. Nico's fighting well in the mix here. We're at the back of the pack of this midfield then. Not totally back of the pack. We're P11 out of 15. The Honda there gets it all wrong. So we get a good run on the exit there. I think Nico was involved in that one. We get in the slipstream of Toby as we head towards turn 1. And we're seeing some good racing here so far as we go onto the brakes, slowing the car down here then and get in on the inside. But we saw it earlier, the Genesis very quick in a straight line. So there's no reason for me to even attempt this at Rouge and Radion. So we're going to pull over towards the left-hand side here and get into Nico's slipstream as we head towards Rouge and Radion. Lap number 4 then, and this race obviously is basically 50 minutes, so it is a long race. So some people are quitting this race quite early, but I would say don't quit it too soon. It's got nice lovely rewards at the end of it if you haven't already spotted it. Now Nico's gone for the run there. You can see how fast that Genesis is down the inside of Toby, and looks like Nico's going to get into P8 then, or should we say Nicky? Hey? No, we won't do that. He hates Nicky. But Tom Burrows keeps calling him that. So we'll see what happens at the World Finals. We jump a bit ahead then. Lap number 4 here then. Toby's looking down the inside of Force Bay, who I took avoiding action on earlier on. Oh, slightly taps Nico there as well. So a bit of contact into the chicane. Obviously a mistake there. So we got on the inside here. Looking for the run on the exit. Look at that. We've got Toby already. We're already alongside the, I think that's a Russian flag there. As we jump to chase cam here, we are the lead car heading towards turn number 1. But they send it down the inside here, and I had nowhere to go there. They do miss the apex, so arguably not the cleanest of dives there as we continue on out. But even so, we can still race here, and that is the aim of the game. As you see my shaking the head of disappointment there as we head towards Rouge Radion. So why do I stay to the left? Some of you have asked that before. The reason I do that is I don't want to be so far up the exhaust of the car ahead before I get to the Kemmel Straight. And arguably I was still too close there because I want the run. I want the slingshot with a slipstream. I don't want to necessarily be right up someone's exhaust where I can't overtake them. A bit like now where I'm struggling to get that overspeed. Anyway, we head towards the, well, Lacombe as we go into the right-hander there. Look how close this is for racing. In towards the left we go then. Still clean racing. This is beautiful stuff then as we go into the right then. And they accelerate a little bit there. Just tap me off again. It's just an unfortunate mistake there. That isn't dirty driving. It's just a mistake as we go into the right-hander and we continue on racing. Nico, though, has bolted. And I wish I was bolting ahead here right now. It is costing me a lot of time as we go into this left-hander. Seconds, in fact, as we continue on through here. Now, some people will go for the move here on Toby, but I don't want to go for it because a move at P1 is very sketchy at the best of times. So I was like, do you know what? It's a 20 lap race. I can wait a little bit longer to overtake Toby. It's not going to cost me the world here. But like a sprint race, which is normally 5 laps at Spa at the max, where suddenly, you know, you're having to cover every move possible because that's your only shot there. Not sure what happened behind there. Looks like there was a bit of contact. So we've just got a bit of breathing room to the Polish driver behind as we head towards this right hand. And Toby sent it around the outside. And the rain has arrived. Look at that dark blue on the weather radar then. So we are going to have to be very careful very quickly. Traction control onto 1 automatically then as we continue on out of here. They go towards the right hand side. I go towards the left hand. So we've got a good run here on the other Porsche as we head towards Blanchimont. And are we going to get this move done? That is the question. On the inside, we're still having to leave a bit of space, having to break actually for Blanchimont because I took such a narrow line. But we are finally through up into P9. Look how far Toby's bolted. 1 second already as we look to head into the pits here. So going to take a nice tight line, come into the pits because we saw dark blue straight away. We're not going to last another lap. We saw that in the weekly race guide as we go into our pit box there. Now, what I want you to do is actually look on that left-hand side there. People are putting wets on. Yeah, well, I didn't realize they've actually changed the wets in the intermediates and how they work in this game compared to before the patch. Hey, things you learn. I didn't know this when I did the weekly race guide, and I started to learn it as I was doing these races. So I'm an intermediate, so there's a few people behind me there, but everybody else up ahead on the wets. And we'll see how good, or a bit of a spoiler, how bad the intermediates actually are. But even so, here we go with this one as we head towards the Rouge Radial. Now, the driver up ahead got ahead of me, so they underfueled or must have done there as we leave there. Oh, hello, they're going there. Goodbye, my friend. Enjoy the wall. Give them a friendly wave. I don't even remember doing that, but there you go. A friendly wave for them as well. So here's another tip for you. Turn that driving line on and stay off it. So somebody has been asking this week, or a few people have actually, why do you not go on the racing line? Well, the racing line is a very slippy line in real life as well. On most circuits, although Spa's been re-tarmac recently, and actually the racing line's still the grippiest part, even in the wet. But over years, the rubber has bedded in, so when it rains, it suddenly becomes very slippy. And that's what they've tried to simulate there, as it looks like Steve has found out there. Slowly moving on to the circuit. We'll actually have a look at what happened to Steve then. So we're not really in any much drama at the moment. Unlike Steve then. So Steve heads towards Lake Home. On the inside goes Nico then in that Genesis. Good little move there by Nico. Gets it stopped. And you notice Steve is on the wet tyres as well in this Nismo GTR GT3 car. So through the right we go. What's going to happen to Steve then? Oh, the turbo kicked in. It just spun the wheels up. Now, that is a real issue in wet weather in these cars, the Group 3 cars, the turbo cars. They just spool up so quickly and cause the wheels to spin. It's why they're so good mid-corner, because they get a tiny bit of wheel spin. It just rotates that car a little bit more. We all know Gran Turismo is the understeer simulator. It very much loves understeer. So that's why turbo cars are good. Except in the rain, where they are absolutely atrocious, as we just saw with Steve. Although, saying that, going through a Rouge and Radion here, I was getting a bit slippy there, and unfortunately, I aquaplaned a little bit and go straight into a barrier. Very hard hit there as I look now to get out of the way and continue on. So Steve goes back past. We'll play Steve. There goes Knudsen. I think they're in a Nissan as well from memory as we continue on. And for me, Force Space coming back into the action. And in my mind, I'm going, again? Again? I'm going to race the guy again? I got past him twice. Let's see what happens this time then. So up ahead, they are fighting at the moment. So we've caught up to that Nissan. The Nissan, the BMW, they're all going to struggle in the wet weather. If you remember, I did a video last time we were here actually doing this kind of race. And I was in the BMW and it was just atrocious. It was bad because the wheels just spin up. There's no grip over the rear. And Knudsen's feeling that right now on the intermediate tyres as well. So what I was planning here then is I knew Knudsen would be struggling on exit. So I wanted to go for a good exit. So I'm going out wide first to bring it back nicely. Get off the race line as quick as possible. Put your foot to the floor and look at the difference. It's like I'm just in a different class in my car as we continue on there. Now, I was about to go alongside Force Bay and I'm like, you can see my face there. Not really worth going side by side through a Rouge Radion in the wet. So, yeah, I do back out of that one as we continue on up here. But we've got a good race going on. And that's what you can have here this week. You can have some good racing. But if you look at that mini-map, the gaps are also massive. So if you're not in a group, it can get very boring very quickly, which is why a lot of people are quitting these races this week. And arguably, why endurance races aren't necessarily the best idea for the Gran Turismo daily races. I do feel there should be one in terms of a daily race available to people, but that's probably why they're not doing them at the moment. Now, Steve's had an unfortunate incident and gone off again. We'll have a look at that one in a second. But we've got a good race here with Force Bay as we look on the inside of them then as we head towards the right-hander. Now, I'm going to end up on the racing line here. It's going to be very, very, very slippy. And you can see there, I'm being so sketchy on the throttle, trying to catch it. The wheels going all over the place here to try and catch it. Now we're going to end up off the racing line, which gives us a good amount of grip around the outside. They give me room this time, so that's how you know it's a mistake earlier. It's still good racing there, Forcepay. Well played to you. And I do get the position. Now what happened to Steve? Because I took your position as well. So through Lake Combe we go. I actually want to have a look at throttle here. Now it goes power on. And the instant the turbo spills up to maximum, it just spins the wheels. And that's what's happened to Steve there going off the circuit. Didn't even know Steve was racing that night, actually. I think Steve was streaming. So you'll know Steve anyway. You all subscribe to him, so you can go check him out anyway if you're not. But that's Super GT for those wondering. Through the left we go, and we go a bit slow through Blanchimont. Some Forcepay coming back at me again. What a fantastic race we've had here with them. Then as we go into the braking zone, we're just ahead as we're off the racing line, so we're trying to avoid that. The second you get on it, you get a bit of understeer. So I go out wide to really come tight then on the exit. This is to get the run out the corner, okay, to really maximize the grip. That's where I found the grip in this car as we continue towards turn number 1. Now, Max Power said in Discord, turn 1's unusual in terms of where the racing line is. I've still no idea where it is. So at the moment, I'm going out to then come back. But I do think there might be a tight line there, maybe. I've no idea, to be honest with you. I really don't. I'm not sure where some people are finding all the time and others not so much. So I really do have to get a bit of studying going on. We are ahead of Forcepay here, so we head to Eau Rouge and Radion, lap number 12. So we are over halfway in this race now, and it's approaching half an hour done in terms of race time. So this is, we've been very much finished by this point. Speaking of finish then, we advance to lap 20, so not much happened then for 8 laps, which is where it can get boring, because that's a good portion of the race there, 20 minutes or so. And we head towards Blanchimont here. We've only got 7 seconds till the end, so guys, you don't see this very often, but I'm actually not going to finish a race. I'm actually not going to finish it. The race could end at the bus stop chicane, which is a first for me, to be honest with you. Now, what is interesting with this race, and what I highly advise everybody does, is actually just stay for the credits. Plus 1,000% reward bonus gives you some nice credits there, 500,000. And I actually think this should become the normal amount of rewards. That's an hour race. Bear in mind, offline, you can earn about 2 million credits an hour. The fact that we're already getting 500,000 credits, I mean, fine, I'll take it. But even so, this should be the normal. Otherwise, we're only getting 55k credits. That's mental. Absolutely mental. So it's nice to see this reward bonus, but it needs to come back. Look at them. Look at the weather radar. There's green on there. Now, is the green going to end up in this race? That is the question then. Max Power is in this one as well as we go in towards turn number 1. And we saw how good Max Power was in the wet in the weekly race guide. The question is he going to continue that here in this particular one then? So we are in the slipstream of the Mercedes. I've actually lowered the brake balance to +3 here for this particular race. I found it made little difference, but it actually helped with a bit of oversteer. But I get Orange Radio completely wrong. I absolutely mounted that curb. You can see my face. I know what's coming. Yes, folks, it's going to be that 0.5 second penalty right there. But you're going to jump on board ahead then. This is Telmo, I believe, as we go into the right-hander. In the Mazda Vision Gran Turismo car. You don't really see this car racing too much at the moment. It's just a lively thing, that is for sure. And they get a whole load of wheel spin here on the exit there, and they're going to go for a spin right at the start of the race. But the good news is 20 laps, plenty of time to catch up. That's what they're going to try and do. They're just starting at the back now, technically. So we go to lap number 2. I've taken the penalty now. I've caught up back to new Ken friend. Maybe Ken's friend, I don't know. As we head towards Blanchimont there. Now we can see here we're actually catching up to everybody else as well. So this is where the racing really kicks off. And this is what I enjoy about this race, especially in the dry at the moment, is that you can have some really good racing here. So go down the inside. I absolutely sent it there. I made it to the apex, stopped on the apex. That's a very clean dive. I always say you can do clean dives as long as you make the apex. That's a fair move in my opinion, as you saw right there. So through La Source we go and head towards the Rouge Radion. Plus 1 second for Faux Bobo, or is it Faux Ato? I have no idea. The Mercedes up ahead, and we've also got Cateria, who also has a 0.5 second penalty in a Lexus. Again, another car you don't see very often. I'm apologising if I butcher these names, but I just say it as I see it. Like its catchphrase, if you all love that game show. If you're not from the UK or America, I think America has catchphrase as well. Get a bit of YouTube. There's some funny moments in that show. Anyway, through the right we go then. Cateria is up ahead in that Lexus with a penalty as well. They're going to go defensive here though, so I didn't want to attack too much. We are very much close to Bilson, Max Power, and everybody else. I think Nico's in front of Max Power there. So very much in the mix here in this particular race. So I did feel I had a bit more pace in this one versus the first one, because I did jump in quite quickly there. Catch up to Bilson. I know you watch the videos, Bilson. I just replied to one of your comments today. So a shout out to you and hello to you as well as we go through this right-hander. In the Ferrari 458 goes off the circuit slightly, and I did notice that as well. You saw me like say something, but I'm not actually saying it on stream. It's basically you should get a penalty for that one because it's off limits, but instead you get dirty tires. So I knew one of the two was going to happen there, and we get the position. Happy days. Remember, to get dirty tires, all four wheels have to go off the circuit. Then you have no grip whatsoever. You really don't. See, the rain is coming in here now. We're very, very close to max power as well as we head onto the Kemmel Straight. I'm also doing Aruja and Radion correctly, which I know I wasn't doing earlier on. So we're in that slipstream. This is the slingshot I was talking about, where you just want that bit more of a gap there to get the overspeed here. Max Power's actually going to lift off there. Very smart driving for Max Power, which is what we expect there. There's no point going side by side into here. You know, I am the lead car at that point, so just let them go. You lose very little time, and you actually catch it up with slipstream later on in the lap. Now, Tam here, struggling a little bit through Puon there. Now, loads of oversteering that Porsche 911, and also a 0.5 second penalty for track limit as well. So we are making our way through the grid a bit better this time compared to that previous race, as we go into the right and then the left, looking to try and get a boost out this corner very quickly. Look at that. There we go. We had a really good run here. I don't really want to fight this too much, though, because they do have a penalty. But even so, I did get a good run. So probably should have gone for it, though, thinking about it now and commentating over it. So through the right we go as we start to head towards Bloodshed. You can see that rain is coming in. Now, last time, the second the rain came in, we actually came in the pits. Now, I was sort of debating at this point in time, do I come in the pits or do I not come in the pits? That was the question. Now, what we're going to do here is actually have a look on the left-hand side and see what everybody does, and we're going to follow suit. That's my plan here. As you can see, P1's in, P2's in, P3's in. You would think you should come in the pits, but I got towards the chicane. I was like, you know what? Let's just try something different. Everybody else is coming in the pits. We'll stay out. And I say we'll stay out. You'll notice Sneak Up Ahead has stayed out, and Max Power stayed out behind. So at that point, I'm like, this seems like a good decision. And we had a fantastic lap here. No real loss of grip. None at all here as we head towards the end of the lap. So this lap, I was like, I'm going to come in the pits this lap. It makes the perfect sense. We head towards Blodgemon. And as we come into here, suddenly I just lose all sense of grip. We come back on the circuit. I'm going to have dirt on my tyres. Of course I am. And as we go into the braking zone here, I look to slow the car. And look at my braking there. It just doesn't want to stop. Nico's gone off as well here. Look in the rearview mirror. Max Power's managed to just stop it just there. And this is like a reenactment of that scene that we've seen at Spa 24 hours before. Somebody else has gone off behind me there in the Lexus as we look to come back on the circuit. Now, the car is all over the place at this moment in time. As we look to try and get round here, you can see me smiling and laughing my head off because it is kind of funny there. I spin the car around again. Somebody else has just got off the circuit there as well. I love the fact that this is exactly like real life. We've seen the reenactment at Spa 24 hours where everybody goes off because it rains. The same thing happened right there. It really did. Now, I had the debate in my head, wet weather tyres or intermediate tyres. Now, because it wasn't as dark blue, and we were nowhere near that green rain that we saw earlier on the weather radar, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to stay on intermediate tyres. It seemed like the best thing to do here because it felt lighter rain. And I think intermediate tyres are better. So we'll see how we play this one. So go out the pits. And of course, I get a 3 second for crossing the pit line. Bearing in mind, I crashed. Apparently crashing, I still get the penalty, which is a bit stupid, Gran Turismo. You can see I lost massive amount of time from it. But even so, I took the penalty and we started racing once again on these intermediate tyres. Now, Tam was having a terrible time here. Terrible time, Tam, in this Spa race. We catch up to them very quickly. We saw them spin out earlier on in terms of Puon, or nearly spin out at Puon, of course, because they held it, but slowed us up massively. So through the right, we're going to go here then, taking the wide line, the racing line, of course. And as we get onto that racing line, it gets very slippy, as Tam finds out. And there is where they spin out, as you can see me smiling there. So, goodbye, mate. I know you're having a terrible time there. I think Tam quits in the end. Lap 19, actually, from memory, you quit the race, which is kind of crazy, to be honest with you. Catch up to our new friend Ken here as we go into Blanchimon in that AMG. Going to be struggling a bit more than these MR cars. So if you want another top tip here, the MR cars are far better for this race when it rains than the FR cars, or FMR in the case of the AMG GT3. And all that means is mid-engine rear-wheel drive, because all the weight's over the rear tyres. The engine pushes the tyres down, and of course that's where you get the grip and you can accelerate. You notice the Greek drivers in on the intermediate tyres, so they're going to go to wets. So one thing I've noticed with this race, nobody has any idea really what tyres to be on, because you don't really get told in Gran Turismo which tyres are best and when. So you're sort of playing a bit of a guessing game. I'd argue that it's something they probably should improve on. They really should, to allow players, especially newer players, what tyres should you be on when? You see Norb here struggling in the Porsche 911. No idea what tyres these guys are on. I'm on the intermediates, of course. Now you'll notice somebody in the lead right now, Max Power, and absolutely flying in this race. Max Power is on wet tyres. So I was speaking to Max Power after the race, and Max Power actually said that the wet tyres are arguably the better tyre to be on now in these situations, which is interesting to see, because obviously it's the top end of intermediate. So if you don't know the moist bar down the left-hand side, moist meter I called it, didn't I? So go around the outside of the French driver there. So when you've got two lines in the middle, so when you're at the top of the second line there, where it is right now, arguably that's wet weather tyres. So in theory, that's when you should have the wets on. See, Sabi's come in the pits on the wets and got to the intermediate. So you really do know nobody has any idea what tyres to go on. So they're struggling in a BMW. Yeah, you are definitely struggling, Sabi. I feel sorry for you there because I know how bad that car is in these conditions. They've gone from wets to intermediates because once again, they have no idea what tyre to go on. Nobody does. Nobody really understands which is the best tyre. But as I say, Max Power believes that it's the wet tyre, and Max Power at the moment proving it's a wet tyre by leading. I mean, look at the time. The time gain is huge. It's up to 49 seconds. You know, I've not made too many mistakes in this one. I am progressing forward, but Max Power is flying, beating a World Tour driver as well in terms of Nico. But I know Nico's in the Genesis, but even so, Max Power is showing how skillful he is in these conditions. He really is. That MG there struggling. This is Faux Bobo. Oh, though 80880. I have no idea. Anyway, the MG driver up ahead as we head towards Rouge and Radion. I know I'm going to have better grip here, so it's all about planning my my attack, essentially. Let's go through here. You'll notice there, they just went off the curbs. So I instantly knew it was going to be a penalty. They also got a bit sketchy there on the exit, like I did in the first race. And you see the penalty there. They also put on their indicator, which I do appreciate, so thank you, mate. We're going to go on by, or at least try to, as we go onto the brakes here for this right-hander and looking to slow the car down. So we touch the racing line, and then we just, well, it feels like ice, essentially. I really do wish they, would change this a little bit. It looks like tyre temps are better than they used to be in the wet, so you can see the tyre temps really having an impact. However, I did get a bit of oversteer there, so the AMG is going to go on by around the outside then as we go to this right-hander. Or at least try, so they're not on the racing line there. I do understeer into them. That's completely on me. I apologise, but hey, they've got the grip there. They go flying by anyway, so it didn't cost them too much time as we go into the left-hander. Of course, they are going to take the penalty because they have to. You know, it's not a case of you got a choice. So they go towards the right-hand side. We go towards the left, and then we get the positions. We're up into P4. Better race here. And look how far behind Max Power we are. 56 seconds. Absolutely mental, the fact that we are that far behind Max Power. Honestly, awesome work there, Max Power. You've absolutely dominated this race. You really have. It's truly skillful. So as we go to here then, I defend from the Brit behind then. And we advance towards the final lap where I'm 1 minute 9 seconds behind Max Power now. 1 minute 9. Unbelievable stuff. Absolutely fantastic there, Max Power. And yeah, we come home in P4. So the point of this video, of course, is to show you some fantastic racing, which I do hope you have enjoyed. Do check out Spa this week. And I did want to show you this for the very other reason, which I'm pretty sure I've put in the thumbnail. It's all about these rewards because that's P4. So what does P4 get in terms of prize money? Well, let's have a gander then as we wait for it to load. So we just got to 0. We finished this race this time. 700,000 credits. That's what it should be normally, folks. That really is what it should be. If you're wondering how much a win is, no matter your driver rating, a win should be 1.3 million credits. 1.3 million. So that is a lot of credits for a race win. And again, I do feel like this should be normal for a normal half-an-hour race in Gran Turismo 7, in a sport mode, in Daily Race C. For half an hour, I think a win should be 1.3 million. Not this 1,000% reward bonus. It should be standard, that. And then look at maybe doubling it when you really want people to compete in it, Gran Turismo. I know sport mode's on the decline. I know less and less people are doing it. So to incentivize us, give us more credits so we can buy more cars. That's what I would advise Gran Turismo. And this is what I would advise you folks to do right now. Is to go and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and to keep notified of all the videos that come to the channel. I do hope you have enjoyed this one. If you did, there's another video there. Check out the weekly race guide. It'll help you out even more in terms of this week's daily races. My log's there to subscribe. Do check out the partners down below. But I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.